Hello there, and welcome to Know to Grow. I'm Lauren Wood, evening anchor here at WDTN. Just had a major life change there. Instead of getting up bright and early for 2 News Today, I am now joining you in the evenings, 4, 5, and 6, and then 10 and 11. So definitely enjoying that. It's been great to get outside and get some morning sun and spend some time in the morning in the garden, which is quite a change for me. We thank you for joining us for Know to Grow. And today we are back with a previous guest. You are actually our first two-time guest, Pamela Bennett, State Master Gardener Program Director, Extension Educator for Horticulture for Clark County, and self-proclaimed plant geek, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
All right. Well, we are glad to have you back again. And we have several really interesting topics. I know I've heard so many people talking about these boxwood moths. And that's what I want to really get to first of all here, because you have a lot of information about them. So let's dig in. What do people need to know when their boxwoods start dying?
Well, unfortunately, the Montgomery County, Butler County, Warren County, Hamilton County have been dealing with this insect. But last Wednesday, I got a call that it was found in western Clark County. And that's not a surprise, really, because of the fact of where they've been so far. They've been in the Huber Heights area. The last time I was here, Lauren, I went down Alex Bell Road to go home, and I couldn't believe the boxwood. They were totally brown, totally brown.
Oh, yeah. I've got some. I'll show you mine. I don't think you've seen mine yet. It's pretty bad.
Goodness.
I should have been on top of this. I was too worried about my tomatoes, and I kind of let the landscaping go because I was all in for the garden. And these are, it's bad. I knew it was bad when I opened the door one day and all the moths just started swarming. Like, I should have done something sooner.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you.
Oh, I am. It's okay. I do not pretend to do my landscaping well. I'm just like I said, I'm in it for the veggies.
I understand, and that's what we're seeing, and that's what happens with this insect because it's one of those, we always laugh, those of us in the industry, that things just don't happen overnight. But this particular caterpillar has a tendency to defoliate within 10 to 7 days.
Oh, wow.
And that's very unusual. And the biggest problem is that when they're really tiny, you don't know they're there and you can't tell unless you're looking for it. But once they start defoliating, it's a big problem. The pictures you're seeing here, this is one of the pupal cases. The first one was the adult moth. And as you look at these, you start to see the defoliation. And right there in the middle is that caterpillar. And you see a little bit of webbing. They do cause some webbing. And unfortunately, right now, they have 2 generations in Ohio, maybe 3. And there are the eggs. And so to understand that if there are 3 generations in Ohio or 2, you want to hit that first generation. So this is the female moth. They overwinter as pupa. They come out in the spring and they hatch. When they hatch, they're real tiny, and then they go through about 7 instars or stages. Each stage starts eating more and more, and those big caterpillars can totally defoliate a bush. And people are really concerned about this, as they should be. Now, I'm telling people, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Okay.
It is not time to get rid of boxwoods.
Okay.
It can be taken care of. There are some sprays for it, and we can cut those back and they will recover.
Okay, so even mine, I don't have to pull them out because I was let's hook up the truck, get a chain, and get them out of here.
No.
Okay.
Cut the bigger ones back. It takes a little bit longer for them to recover, but they can recover. Next spring when they hatch, you want to spray them with a caterpillar spray.
Okay. Do you have one that you recommend or just any caterpillar spray?
If you go to your garden center, you can look at it and look for something that says caterpillars on ornamentals.
Okay.
And that lets you know that it's safe to be sprayed on boxwood.
Okay.
Hit them when they're small. And then hopefully the idea there is that second generation, they can't come back, lay a set of eggs, and have another generation to defoliate again.
Okay.
So by trying to get that first one, here's an example.
There we go.
Yeah. Here's an example of where they were first discovered. They've been in Canada. That was the first location. And this is really important because if you look at the number of sales of boxwoods, if we start telling people rip out your boxwoods, we will totally kill the nursery industry. And up in Lake County alone, it employs 2,100 people.
Oh, wow.
So it's not like, boxwoods are done. We don't need to use them anymore, number one. Number two, there are very few substitutes for boxwoods as well. So this one shows you kind of a little bit of the distribution. And if you can flip to the next one.
So Ohio's kind of boxwood central. I did not realize that it was such an Ohio thing.
It came from Canada.
Okay.
So anything that Canada gets or Pennsylvania gets comes in on the east and the west, and then it slowly gets down to us.
Okay.
So if you look at these pictures, my colleague Joe Boggs took great pictures. These are the adult moths, and most of the time you're not going to see them, Lauren. So if you actually saw them, you're one of the few because they hang around at night.
Yeah.
They get around your porch lights. But
that was what it was. It was a porch light thing. I was getting an Amazon package off the front porch.
Exactly. So that previous slide was traps, and that's a pheromone trap. Okay. The adult male is attracted to that, and that's how we found that it was in the Clark County area because there were a few in the traps. So on the next slide, you will see the actual caterpillar. And these are larger caterpillars. And the other thing I want to point out on this, over on the right-hand side, see those little black pellets? That's called frass. That's bug poop. Yep. And many times you will actually see a bunch of this underneath the plant.
Okay.
Now, other people are concerned about boxwood leaf blight. Well, we don't have any leaf blight confirmed in Ohio at this point, or at least in the southwest part of the state. And if you have boxwood leaf blight, you're going to have leaves underneath the plant.
Okay.
You looked at yours, there were no leaves, there's nothing. And that's because this caterpillar chews all of the leaves.
It's the very hungry caterpillar.
That's exactly.
I think I have that book, don't I?
That's exactly right. That's right. So if you go on to the next slide, they are sneaky. This has an infestation of them, but they start out on the inside. So this first generation that comes out in late May, June feeds. And that's the generation that you want to hit. And people don't see it. I mean, it really and truly looks like it happens overnight. So you can see the browning. Okay. If this is boxwood blight, they'll be all over the ground underneath the plants. But if there's no leaves, then it's definitely box tree moth.
Okay.
Go to the next one. I want to point out here, if you look at the top left where that little curly Q of the leaf edge, when they're tiny, look for that because they just eat kind of all the inside and leave the outside. So if you're looking closely and monitoring your plants, you can find those very easily.
Okay.
And then the next slide. Yeah, here you go. This is a good example. See how they eat the inside of the leaf and leave that outside? Yep. That's pretty much what the one that still has leaves on, that's pretty much what it looks like.
Okay.
Okay, next. And then, like I said, you'll see the webbing. So that first generation then feeds and then pupates, hangs out a while, and then comes back with a second generation. And those kind of look like yours, don't they?
That looks a lot like mine.
But if you look underneath here, look underneath the shrubs, you do not see any leaves.
Right.
So you got to look close.
They're taking care of it all.
Oh, they do. They do. And
here's
an
that looks
infestation.
really familiar.
Yeah. Now, these are small enough that if you cut these about halfway back, they should send out some new growth next year.
Okay.
Keep in mind, the larger the boxwood, the longer it's going to take for them to recover.
Okay.
But they can recover, especially if you have like a boxwood hedge or something like you do around the foundation. Excuse me. They can recover.
Okay. So don't go ripping them out right away.
Not
Give
yet.
them a chance.
You'd be a good experiment for me to see how they come back. So this slide shows a little bit on the far left, the eggs, the hatch, the feeding, and then the moth. And if you look all through that generation, they are feeding. Okay. So if you have another generation, there's going to be more damage. So in this case, getting that first hatch, killing them when they're small, is going to really help prevent that damage.
Okay. And I failed miserably at that.
Well, and here's what we're seeing. I mean, there are some beautiful boxwood hedges. I mean, like I said, Alex Bell Road had some large plantings. You know, on the right-hand side, this is what they look like. And then in 10 days, all of a sudden, it looks like they do on the left.
So my neglect was not as bad as I might think.
Oh, no.
It happens
no.
It does happen fast. I was not, I didn't completely have my head in the sand.
It wasn't all you. No, it is one of those things that you just don't see. Now, this list, and you can find these, and I've got some resources here towards the end. This list has the things that you can use. Okay. And if you look on the label, it will tell you caterpillars on ornamental plants. Okay. And that's all you need to know. Now, there is the fourth one down, that Bacillus thuringiensis. That's a very safe one to use. It's actually a bacteria. Okay. But you have to use that on the brand new caterpillars. As caterpillars get older, it will not work on those large caterpillars that you've been seeing in these pictures.
Okay. All right. And can you find this list on OSU's website, the Extension
Yes.
website? What do we need to go to there?
Did you pull up, if you can pull up the resource slide? I think one of the next ones I have some resources.
All right. There we go.
There we go.
Look at that.
So I'm putting together this page, but it's just for Box Tree Moss. So that's go.osu.edu/BTM. And then you can go to beagle.osu.edu for general gardening information. And the reason I point this one out, my colleague Joe Boggs is in Hamilton County. When things hatch down there, it's usually a day, 2 days, 3 days later that we start seeing it. So when they hatch down there, Joe's going to write an article for this newsletter, and people will be able then to look at it and say, oh, it's hatched. Let's go out and start spraying or start looking.
Okay.
Then the other one is general gardening, and then the Department of Agriculture at the bottom has a lot of resources as well.
Okay.
So lots of good resources out there. My message is don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Okay, that is good to know because I was ready to throw in the towel. I thought it was over. So that's it. My husband's going to be glad to hear that too. He was not very into my idea of getting some chains and hooking them up to the truck. So this is good. Right now, anything that we should be doing, or do I need to wait until the spring and make sure that we get them when they're in that early stage?
So since you don't work in the mornings, which is really nice now,
Yes.
Go out tomorrow morning and just kind of look at them.
Okay.
Dig around in the ground and in some of the webbing areas and see if you can find any pupal cases.
Okay.
I mean, this has complete metamorphosis because it's a moth. So right now, I suspect they're pupating, and they will overwinter because we're probably not going to have enough nice temperature for that next generation to hatch.
Okay.
If
So
it did and we had freezing, that might be okay, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay. All right. Well, good to know on that. I think a lot of people are dealing with that. I know I've heard a lot of people
Yes.
talking about it. I know Centerville Kettering,
Yes.
just everybody's seeing it. You also, I believe last time you were here was when we touched on the spotted lanternfly for the first time, and you have an
Yes.
update on that. I accidentally had that PowerPoint pulled up there a second ago. I was right beside the one I wanted, but we're going to talk about that. I'm going to take a break here really quickly, and then we will come back and talk some more about the spotted lanternfly and what we need to know. All right, welcome back to Know to Grow. I'm Lauren Wood here with Pamela Bennett. She is an extension educator for horticulture for Clark County, also the State Master Gardener Program Director and self-proclaimed plant geek, which I am grateful for your expertise because we are dealing with a lot of pests this year. We just got done talking about the boxwood moth. Last time you were here, we talked about the spotted lanternfly, and you have another update on that. Let's get into that.
Yes, ma'am. So I brought you a sample here, and the sample is the Tree of Heaven.
Okay.
And I want to hold this up.
Okay, I have one too. Look at this.
Yeah. They don't hold up very good. But
Okay.
anyways, this whole thing is a leaf.
Okay.
So if you look at the leaf scar, and that's like down at this end, it's
Okay.
very big.
Okay.
The plant itself is very coarse. And if you pull one of these little tiny leaflets off,
Okay.
so that is a leaflet right at the base. Do you see how there's like a little hitch right there? Kind of
Okay.
a little weird. And then
Like this here?
Put your finger
Okay.
there, and do you feel little tiny bumps?
Oh, I do right here. Yeah. I can
So
see them too.
This is the
These here?
leaflet. Yep,
Okay.
exactly. This is the leaflet on a Tree of Heaven. And then I
Okay.
want you to crush the leaves.
Okay.
Whew.
Just take it like this.
Just crush it and tell me what you smell.
Okay. Ooh, peanut butter.
Peanut butter, yes. Yes, so this is the Tree of Heaven.
Okay.
This is the favorite plant for spotted lanternfly.
Okay.
And it does have that, some people say burnt peanut butter.
Yeah.
It's a peanut butter smell.
Okay.
It is also an invasive tree, but it is the favorite tree for spotted lanternflies. So it was discovered a couple weeks ago in Clark County, and they are all on the Tree of Heaven. So number one, if you have Tree of Heaven, if you find this in your area, landscape alley, get rid of it
Okay.
because this is what they're going to come to first.
Okay.
And then watch and be on the lookout. Now, it has not been discovered in Montgomery County, Miami County. There is an active presence in Hamilton County. There's none in Warren and Butler yet,
Okay.
but I would suspect that we are probably going to see them in these counties here in the next few years. we're asking the public to be on the lookout for them.
Okay. And if I remember correctly, last time you said if you're in one of those counties where it's already been confirmed, just kill them as soon as you see them. Is that right?
Exactly. I'm trying to get we're in the parade for South Charleston this weekend, and I'm trying to get a big banner with a big foot that says, if you see this,
Yes.
stomp it.
Okay.
Because once we discover them, once ODA has said, yes, they're in your county, we want to get rid of it, and we're never going to eliminate it, but the more you can kill, the better off it's going to be for future populations.
Okay. Is there spraying for this, or is it just
There
stop it?
There are some sprays. Again, the pyrethrins are good sprays, but the problem is this is a leaf hopper or plant hopper. If you go up to try to catch it or touch it or spray it, they just kind of hop and flit away.
Okay.
So they're hard to spray. Now, one of the things that I'm getting is one of those backpack sweepers, because you can just go right up the tree and suck them up. And again,
interesting.
the idea is to decrease that egg-laying population as much as you possibly can.
Okay.
Because when they come and they're in your neighborhood, you're just going to hate them.
Yeah.
You're going to hate them.
Now, if you're in a county where it hasn't been confirmed yet, you want to call before you kill them, right?
That's right. If it's not been confirmed, you call, like Montgomery County, you call Ohio Department of Agriculture, or call Leora here in Montgomery County, your county extension office. ODA will come out. They will identify it for sure. They will delimit the area, which means they go out like a mile, and until they don't find any, then they know exactly where it is.
Okay.
If they find it and delimit it, then they will quarantine the county, which means a lot for our nurseries. They have to do some inspection. They have to have certificates. There's a lot that they have to do in order to ship out plants.
Okay. If you see the tree of heaven, and it sounds like you said it's an invasive plant, do you want to try to wipe that out even if you don't see the spotted lanternfly?
Yeah, if people have them, especially if they're in your backyard, or if they are in a, let's say, where I saw them in South Charleston, they're in an alley, right, leaning over somebody's yard, because they like this. And remember the last time I was here, I told you they secrete honeydew, which is real sticky. Anything under that tree where they're feeding will be sticky and covered within a black sooty mold.
Okay.
So it's a good idea, if you have Tree of Heaven, to remove it if you can.
Okay. Do you want to click through a few slides here?
Sure,
I know we have a PowerPoint.
Yep, sure.
We can take a look there real quick.
So on the left, you have the adult.
Okay.
And on the right, where you see the black ones, those are the first instar nymphs. There's 3 instar nymphs, and then the fourth one, the red one, that is the 4th instar. Then they molt into the black adult.
Okay.
All of those stages feed. So technically, from the time they hatch in June, clear through till they complete their egg laying, they're all feeding and secreting that honeydew.
Okay. Trying to click through here. There we go.
And this just shows a real quick a picture of where they were found. They were discovered on the East Coast in Pennsylvania. And as you see, like I said before, with spotted lanternfly, from the top and from Pennsylvania, we tend to get this part, this stuff in. But they are easily spread to other counties by maybe they lay their eggs on your car, or maybe they lay their eggs on your camper, or you went and picked up firewood somewhere. If there's an egg on there or an adult, then you just bring them into your area. And that's pretty much how we got them in the Clark County and Cincinnati area, and Hamilton County, Franklin County.
All right.
And that area is where we just discovered it for Clark County.
Okay.
And again, just the quarantine areas, which the Department of Agriculture sets that quarantine. If you look up Northeast Ohio, there's some big nurseries up in that area. And again, it hits the nursery industry because they have to do some inspections and certain things they have to do before they can ship nursery stock. Okay. And that's just a real quick example of their life cycle. You see they hatch April and June. And like I said, all of those different instars, they all feed.
Okay. And these guys are going to survive the winter?
So the adult, you can see there in September, she lays her eggs, and the hardest thing is to see those egg masses on trees. After she lays these eggs in like a block row, she turns around and covers it with what looks like a putty. And if you've ever looked at bark on trees, there's just some trees that you just don't see anything until you're really looking closely. So that's what we'll be talking about in the next few months, getting out there, inspecting trees, looking to see if they've laid eggs, and if they have, just take a credit card and scrape off the eggs and put them in a bucket of soapy water.
Okay. Let's touch on a couple of gardening questions.
Okay.
How important is it to cure sweet potatoes and white potatoes, and do you do it differently?
So I pretty much do both of them the same.
Okay.
You want to store them in a cool, dry location. This is in my garage. You can see I got my onions in there too. But when I dig my potatoes, I lay them in these baskets. If there are any bruised areas when they come out, I cut those and use those immediately because, as you know, if there's any bruises on one, it's going to spread to another.
Oh, yeah.
If you have layers of them and they're piled up and there's humidity and moisture in there, then they're going to rot. So for both my sweet potatoes and red potatoes, I always cure them in my garage where it's not too hot, not too cold, but just the right temperature, and dry is the main thing.
Okay.
And then sweet potatoes, once their skin's cured, they will last. I mean, I've accidentally kept some in my cupboards for a long period of time. They'll last almost all winter.
I had read some crazy stuff online about like heat curing your sweet potatoes and having them, like you have to bring them up to a temperature and a certain humidity. Is that, you don't have to bother with that?
You don't have to.
Okay.
You don't have to.
That's a relief.
No. Yeah. No, I do the easy way.
All right, I will follow in your footsteps with that. We dug some this week for dinner, and
nice.
I really didn't think they were going to do that well because it's been so dry, and I haven't kept up with watering. We had some pretty good sized sweet potatoes. So I'm excited to get the rest of them out.
How
here
big were they?
Soon. I would say
nice.
9 inches. I mean, they were like my kids were able to split them.
That's
was
nice.
It was good. So that was a nice surprise. You
That's
never
great.
know what's under the ground there.
That's for sure.
I know another thing that we're going to be gearing up for is ordering garlic, getting that ready to go in the ground here in the next few months. What do we need to be looking for when we're ordering, and what do we need to be doing now to prepare our beds?
So, a lot of people like to go to the grocery store and just use that garlic. I don't prefer that. It is treated so it won't sprout. I mean, it will eventually sprout, as you know, because I've got sprouted garlic in my drawer with my potatoes that are sprouted. So, it sprouts. There's several places online that you can get garlic. I just wanted to point out on the left, you see stiff neck and soft neck garlic. Stiff neck garlic has a little bit different flavor, but it stores really well.
Okay.
Soft neck doesn't store as much, and it's a little more tender.
Okay.
If you're going to plant it, you can see on the right, I took one of those, and you separate all the cloves. You should be planting now. You want to get your garlic in. You want to get it started before we get into a really hard freeze or cold winter.
Okay.
So dig your holes about 6 to 10 inches. Put your cloves down there individually, and then eventually those are going to start sprouting. They'll tolerate the winter. They might get cold damage. They might look really bad next spring, but then next summer when they start to form their scapes and they start to turn yellow, then it's time to dig them up. And I usually keep some cloves back or some garlic bulbs back every year. So I have not bought garlic for like 15 years because I keep planting those that I take out.
Okay.
It's just great to plant garlic and have something real easy to grow. Very easy to grow.
All right. Well, I've got to get mine ordered. I have not done garlic yet. That's going to be a new adventure for us.
You'll love it. It's very easy.
All right. Well, Pamela Bennett, Extension Educator for Horticulture for Clark County, thank you so much for being with us today. And hopefully we'll see you again here in a few weeks.
Well, thank you, Lauren. Thanks for letting me get this message out. Because this is
Absolutely.
really important that people start looking for these insects.
All right. Thanks, Pam.